Welcome back to the Four Rings Inn for another episode of City of Shadows. We just concluded a meeting of the pristine as in the wake of the murder of Viscount Thornstrum, the assassination of Viscount Thornstrum, the High Priest of the Enlightened has requested to absorb, only temporarily, the Grimwatch, the Rangers of the city, in order to turn their services inward to hunt the witch that plagues us. So, as evening sets on Thalia this night, are you ready for a scary story?
Always.
Action. As evening falls over the city and the street lanterns are lit, we move to Thornley. How do we find Orianna as we come into this episode?
I am, after the sun has set, making my way towards the Whistler's Feast, a place that Orianna herself has not yet been. I was outside during Cinderfall, but I never entered inside the hearth. And the whole time as I'm walking, I'm thinking back to Cinderfall, everything that has happened since then. I was never inside during the night, the first of Asha, and then the next day, the Ashen Order had gone and swept through and did their own investigation of the crime scene, but I've realized that I myself have never gone through and looked for any clues or information with all the knowledge that I know about the cult. And I'm also getting antsy thinking about where Resbin is and wanting to find him and finally confront him again. And so I'm hoping to find some answers on Father.
Yeah, absolutely. You arrive to the Whistler's Feast. And as you get there, you see the building is still boarded up. There are wooden street blockades all surrounding the building. And there are 3 cloaks of the Ashen Order standing guard out front. And just they're chatting with each other. And they hail you as you come up, and they wave and go back to their conversation.
Gotcha. Okay. So they've already seen me.
So if you want to back it up, if you want to avoid the detection,
it's fine.
you absolutely
can. I even if they see me, I guess that's fine. But I do want to make my way, I guess, towards the back of the building and try to pry off one of those wooden panels and try to get inside.
Yeah. Sure. Make a stealth check as you try to, break into the Whistler's Feast.
23.
23. You are able to loosen up one of these boards, and as you get it loosened, you can hear one of the cloaks out front. Did you hear something out back? Let me go check it out. And as they start to come around back, you're able to get the door just open enough that you can slip into the Whistler's Feast undetected.
Awesome.
I love that these guys are NPCs. In the best sense of the word.
Did you hear something? Must have been nothing.
And then I will just begin taking in the room for what it looks like since the first of Asha. I don't know what's left. I don't know what happened really here. I've never been in since Cinderfall.
Sure. You enter in. Make an either perception or investigation check. Investigation being more of the analysis, and perception being more of like just seeing what you can see.
Yeah, I rolled good, so what do I want to do with that?
Is that how you're supposed to do that?
I was gonna say, I don't know if that checks normally work.
I rolled before you explained what each one was. I'll just do perception.
Okay.
It's a 19.
A 19. You see most of everything in here has been cleaned up for the most part. As you enter in to the main hall, you see a huge portion of the seating here has been torn from the ground. Most of it forcibly. The room looks like it's been cleaned, but it's still absolutely in shambles. You notice parts of the floor are still stained in blood. And you follow those trails of blood leading towards either the walls where people tried to slip out the sides, and towards the front door. Speaking of those walls, as we get deeper into fall, that sweet whistle that the summer breeze creates, that music through these panes, becomes more of a haunting tune, almost like a quiet scream, just emanating through the hall as you go through. Not pleasant in any way. It is clear why they would normally close this down for the season.
Is there anything up on the stage, like where I would assume the ritual was happening?
Yeah, you look on the stage. You can see the indent and like claw marks all across the stage, varying in different like thicknesses and depth, but a bunch of different claw marks throughout the stage. You see where something large had been chained to the stage. The fire pit that makes up the hearth has been cleared out, but the ashes that kind of still remain have a strange scent to them. It's not like a smoky burnt wood. It's something far more unfamiliar. And as you kind of turn your eyes to the stage, you do see the trapdoor, which is normally very hidden for the sake of performances. The latch is broken and the hinges are crooked now. It's like doesn't close properly anymore as it sits askew.
Yeah, I absolutely want to go down there and see if there's anything that they left behind, any storage things. Yeah. You open it up and it is completely dark down there. Do you have any kind of light source going into the basement? I had matches on my person. Is there anything on the stage that I could light as a torch?
Not on the...
No, like broken pieces of wood or something that I can.
You can break a piece of wood if you wanna.
I'll break a piece of wood.
Stuff. Yeah, make a craft check.
I'll break a piece of this door off.
You should go 14. Rob those poor people again.
I was gonna return the stuff eventually.
On a 14, you're able to break down part of this trapdoor, and it fashions something that you can use as a torch. Just as you're getting ready to descend down, you can hear a little bit of commotion at the front door as you've been breaking wood inside of here, and you can kind of hear the cloaks outside. Maybe doing a search around. Maybe they're coming inside. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'll hop down through the trapdoor and kind of close what's left of it on top, because I only wanted to break like a small, like the edge off, just to make like a thin torch. So I'll slide that back over and hop down here and try to light it.
Cool. You light it. The torch spills out underneath. Make another perception or investigation check, and you can do this with advantage.
I will do investigation this time before I roll. Okay. 17.
17. You creep through down here, looking through all of the like theater the theater production items that are down here. You have plenty of boxes and crates and things. A couple of things that you notice. You see claw marks down here in one of the corners. And you can almost, on a 17, it looks like some of the marks look like fingernails, small fingernails, and some of them look like much more menacing, animalistic marks. As you creep around, you find a crate that looks used far more recently than other ones. And you peek it open, and it is about half full of both simple but recognizable black cloaks, and the other half is theater masks, the same ones that you saw the cult had been wearing. Mm-hmm. You look around a little bit more. You see a spot once again with chains that have been pinned down to the floor, where it looks like something large had been kept and tied down. You find a crate that is full of both, like, at this point, rotting meat, and a couple, like, tiny, like, magic trinkets, like little, like either amulets or lucky charms, or little things that, like, the enlightened would give out at, like, ceremonies or at holidays to people. Like, nothing, almost less than a cantrip's worth of magic, but just little things that have little bit of divine magic imbued in them, in this crate.
Interesting.
On a 17, as you go to leave, the very last thing you find is as you leave the area that you're looking, you notice that on one of the crates that was cracked and broken due to the scratch marks that were going on, there is a ripped piece of deep maroon fabric, mm-hmm. that you would recognize as sericum. And on the floor nearby, you find a key. The key at its head has engraved into it the crest of the Wayne and Waxen.
Cool. Yeah, I take it.
Cool. On a 17, that is everything you investigate.
I'll go back to the door and try to like peek out to see if anybody is back into this room. Did the guards come in?
You peek from the trap door looking up into the main room. There is one cloak that just, from all the way on the other side of the room, you see they've cracked the door open. They have a torch and they're just peeking through the door. They like do not want to enter this room. This room has the worst vibes ever, and so they're just peeking in, trying to do everything they can not to have to go farther, and they're just peeking into this room.
Gotcha. I'll put my torch out and wait for the coast to be clear again, and then after he leaves the door, then I'll come back out of the trap door and try to leave the way that I came back in to the whole hearth.
Yeah, one more stealth check from Orianna.
Okay, that is a 21.
21. You slip out undetected and make your way back out into the night.
Gotcha. I think I will walk. I want to walk back to Brighthold Barracks, but I don't want to pass the guards that I passed on my way in. I want to just leave in a way that they don't see me.
Yeah. Perfect.
And just get back to the barracks. I keeping the key with me, the knowledge of that crate of small imbued magic items under the stage, and take my long rest because I need one.
Yeah, absolutely. As the night becomes late and people retire, Renshor and Sterling, anything you guys would like to do before bed?
I think Sterling, after Orianna left and then the two lords left, the house is getting empty. There's like a panicking, narrowing in of there's nothing left to distract me from the fact that I'm cut off from my magic. And, like, I know that I should stay in the manor tonight, because if I'm seen leaving, just like when I wanted the Viscount to turn around the carriage, I don't want to be caught. I don't want to give anything that could be suspicious. But it is like, the longer it goes, the more jittery I'm becoming. And after the sun sets and it's late at night and I've done all of the duties that I might, sat in the drawing rooms, gone to the public dinner, did everything that I would need to appear for, I think I'm just starting to panic a little bit worse. And I can't connect with him the way I normally do. But I want to open my window and look to see if I can see Raven.
Yeah, I think I once that normal connection with the Raven was cut off, I think he's stayed unusually close to Sterling, as he doesn't like that separation either. And so he's been floating either by the house or by whatever window that Sterling is. Every time you peek out a window, you can see him in a tree. He's always like in a line of your sight.
I just want to open the window and motion for him to come in.
Yeah, he'll come right down.
And then in his head, reaching out in a way that I don't typically have to do with him. Can you feel it?
I can. It fills the air.
Does it hurt you?
It separates me from you, my darling, and that hurts me.
I'm regretting our plans as they are. I hate being here.
I hate this too. Would you take a piece of advice from a humble raven?
Just once.
Patience is difficult. It does not get easier with time. But sometimes you simply have to embrace your condition. It makes the time pass easier.
I was so angry seeing the forge and the hands and the people. It felt like the beginning again. And yet, now, I just want to go home. And there's no home to go to.
I think as you say that, Raven contemplates home. And I think it's been so long since both of you have been home. He kind of just scooches up and cuddles up next to Sterling.
I wish we could leave. I wish there was somewhere we could go to.
We could just fly away. But then there'd be nothing left to hunt.
Yes. Yes. And then I'll sit there for a little while longer. But before going to sleep, I think of, well, what I've done, and more importantly, May in the city. And I try to crawl into the big, beautiful bed that I have. And I think instead, I just grab my dagger tightly and all my things. And I'm going to go into the wardrobe and just tuck myself in a corner and shut it.
Okay.
I don't want anyone coming into the room and finding me right away. And so if I cannot flee, I must hide.
Yeah. You tuck yourself into your wardrobe. It is Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as the bed tonight. And after a good long while, you are able to go to sleep. I imagine it's not restful sleep, but it will be a long rest.
It will be something I haven't gotten in quite a while.
But it will be the uncomfort is balanced by the exhaustion and how
Yeah.
much that you need the sleep. Absolutely. Renshor, anything for you before bed?
Nothing out of the usual. Just reading.
Perfect. Everybody drifts off to sleep. But before...
I'm sorry.
Yes.
He does make sure that there's a dagger next to his bed.
Deal. Perfect. Before the sun rises on the 14th of Asha, Renshor, you are once again awoken to the bells. Dong, 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 tolling 3. As you hear the bells, you can't help but feel your senses kind of creep out into the room. And make a perception check.
18.
18. You first hear the sounds of footsteps once again in the hall. This time, it almost sounds like it's coming from Sterling's room. Maybe from farther down the hall. It's hard to tell. But you hear the footsteps. Creak, creak, creak. And then a pause. And maybe you can just go back to sleep. That's when you hear the doorknob jiggle again.
I bolt up. I am going to feel around for my dagger.
Sure.
And I'm going to poke my finger on the tip.
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, I think it hurts.
Fuck.
Ow.
Okay. Now what? That was all my coins. Without uncovering my light, I would like to, as quietly as I can, get out of bed and go over to the door. Is the doorknob still like? What?
As you look up at the doorknob, it is not jiggling. Although some movement on the other side of the room does catch your eye near like your desk. Just out of the corner of your eye.
Is my finger bleeding?
No, I don't think it's bleeding.
I want to poke my finger on it until it bleeds.
You poke your finger on it until it bleeds. You wake up. And you find yourself standing in the main hall of your house. Like I feel like at the top of the stairs. And you have the knife in your hand, and you've drove it like almost all the way through your finger to where like you can almost see the point like coming through your fingernail.
Do you want me to take like damage for that? Or...
Yeah, you can take
Not the
you
player
can take 2 points of
asking for damage.
How many?
2.
Cool. I can. Okay.
And you can see like the blood just running down your hand.
Okay. Well, shit. Where did I steal that tincture from before? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you took it from the servants' like quarters down there.
Okay. I don't really want to bother them. It's like 3 a.m. I guess I'll just go to the bathroom. The washroom.
Sure.
I assume there's gonna be a bucket of water.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm just gonna wrap it in a towel. Fuck the towel.
Yeah.
Who cares?
You wrap it in a towel. Just as you're finishing up, a bit of movement catches your eye once more, just out of the corner, but something reflected in the mirror behind you. And as your gaze comes up, it was just the slightest bit of movement. It's hard to tell. It's late at night. It's hard to tell what it was. But it looked like, if you had to describe it, it looked like something just came tucked behind the door that you entered in.
Like it's in the room hiding behind the door?
No, it's like someone out. If there was something outside, just like maybe like fingers or a hand, something that like maybe was curling around the door, just released and came out. And you catch that like just in the mirror as you finish washing up.
I will whip around with the knife. I brought it with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slowly walk out the door and peek around the corner.
Yeah, you open the door and peek out. Make a perception check.
19.
19. You look both ways. There's nothing in the hallway. The hall is empty. And just as like there's a pause, you hear something float down the hall. The whole night you've been hearing those chants from the Ashen Order, damping the magic in damping the magic in Darlington. But you hear a different noise. It's very faint, but you hear the sound of a violin playing. It sounds like someone like downstairs in like the ballroom or in like the main greeting room. It's like, again, very quiet, but the sounds of like of a violin just kind of creep through the hall.
Well, we gotta see who's doing that.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I'll walk down to the ballroom.
Yeah, you make your way. Before you get to the ballroom, as you get to the top of the stairs, you look down to where the main landing is, and you see that the main door to Tyrval Manor is just slightly ajar. And it just kind of blows open a little bit and then closes, and it kind of blows open a little bit just in the evening wind.
Who turned my door into a jar? Okay, I will leave that for now, because that's a future Renshor problem. I will walk down the stairs
Mm-hmm.
and around the banister
Perfect.
and work my way towards the back of the manor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as you get to the ballroom, as you move around the banister and move deeper into the house, I'll ask you what I asked Orianna. Do you have any kind of light source on you? Because you were getting
No.
to a dark portion of the house.
I do not. I've just been using Windows.
Perfect.
Moonlight.
Yeah. You make your way, and just as you get to the ballroom, the last note played on the violin is scratched, as almost as somebody hastily pulls the saw, and you can hear like the clatter of instruments as you just get to the ballroom. Of the violin and the saw.
Is there a whole ensemble?
The ensemble. But you hear
Hello?
that scratch.
Hello? Who's here? Fuck.
No response.
Where do we keep our violins? Do we have violins?
We probably have violins.
I guess I want to make my way to where we keep our violins.
You make your way into the ballroom, and you see a figure is there hunched over the violins. Blood dripping from their fingers.
I'm gonna leave.
Make a stealth check for me as you go to leave.
Oh no, that's a 4.
It's a 4. As you turn to leave, your first step is just the creakiest part of the ballroom. Big creak echoes out. The figure hunched over goes, "Oh my Novem!" and jumps, and you see one of your servants is here. They turn around. They are pale. They're scared. And they go, "Oh my. Oh. Lord Renshor. It's just you.
What?
My sincerest apology. I must have been sleepwalking tonight. And you see that they kind of look down at their hands. Their hands are shaking, and just like you look kind of close, and you see that their fingertips are bleeding, and the blood is like dripping down the violin. And like I must have just have awoken in my sleep.
It's okay. Go wash up. I'll take care of this.
My sincerest apologies for staining the instruments. I'll have someone clean it first thing in the morning. I can clean it now if you need.
No, I didn't even know we had violence. Not an issue.
Oh, okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, that gave me quite a scare. That was a dreadful dream. And as that, she jumps again as the bells outside. Dong, 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 toll 3. And she goes, goodness, yes, I'll go get myself cleaned up. Thank you, my lord. And she'll shuffle off back towards the servants' quarters.
I have no intentions of cleaning this up, so I'm just also gonna go home or go to my room.
Yeah. Yeah, you find yourself alone in the ballroom again, or you can follow the servant out.
There's a choice.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can do whatever you want.
I would like to go to my room.
Yeah, you head back to your room. As you kind of get back in, settle back in your room. Make one final perception check.
Oh, I wanted to close the door on my way up, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you close the front door.
I kind of forgot about the front door. That's weird. IKEA 20. Man, my perception's on point.
You come back into your room. You kind of sit back in your bed. Your eyes move to your desk, just because that's where you first saw that movement and you were unsettled by it. And as you kind of look back to your desk, you notice that, like, you're not particularly, like, super, like, not that you're untidy, but you're not, like, super regimented in how you keep everything on your desk all the time. But you really think it looks like some of the stuff on your desk got shifted around a little bit. Like, you look and just the inkwell kind of doesn't seem like it's in the right place. Your book just looks a little crooked. You know, like maybe if you look at it, your book might be on a different page. Nothing like drastically different. Maybe like 2 or 3 pages over. But you kind of just look at your desk and like the chair, like it isn't all the way pushed in. It just doesn't quite look right.
I'm gonna look under my bed.
Yeah, you look under your bed, and there's nothing there.
In the wardrobe?
Nothing in the wardrobe.
In my bed.
There is nothing in your bed that you would not have put there yourself.
Was my door open when I came back?
No. Unless you left it open.
It was how I left it.
It was, yeah, however you left it.
Have we invented window locks yet?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably.
If
Not
we
for the
haven't,
second
I'm
floor.
planning to do that after these encounters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock on Sterling's door. Fuck your long rest.
Sterling, at 3 a.m, you're awoken to a knock, not on your wardrobe door, but to the door of your room.
An intruder wouldn't knock, so I will like panic for like just a second, and then I will slowly crawl out from the wardrobe.
Yeah, that's horrifying, by the way.
It's-
But yeah, go ahead.
It's Renshor.
It's a horrifying image, but yeah, absolutely.
Dagger in hand.
Yeah.
I also have a dagger. Let's not.
And
love each other.
I'll put it behind my back. Oh.
Oh, good. You were awake. I just was curious if I'm also holding a knife. I was.
Mine's behind my back. You don't know
were
yet.
Were you just in my room?
No.
I think someone was.
Someone is in the house.
Well, there's lots of people in the house. But I think someone was just in my room. Wait. Is this a dream?
No.
Is that what Dream Sterling would say?
So, you...
Oh! I see we're equally prepared.
Well, I'm feeling unprotected this evening. And now you believe someone is in the manor.
Again, there's lots of people in the manor.
Obviously, I mean... Why do you believe that?
Well, and then I told her the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I came back, and my desk was slightly disarranged. And I don't really understand how the front door got open.
You think someone broke in to look at your paperwork? I was afraid they were going to slit our throats in our sleep, so... I'm going to go over to his room.
Sure.
And I want to look around.
You were not invited into my room.
I know. Are you going to stop me?
No.
I walk out into the hallway, and I go to walk into your room.
No, I didn't stop you.
Okay, so I go in his room.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
I'm just gonna walk over to my bedside table and uncover my light at this point.
Deal.
12.
12. I think at this glance, it looks normal. There's nothing really strange about the room. Even his desk being like askew, like it kind of just looks like he was a little like hasty going to sleep. Like he didn't like close his book or anything, but like there's not like, it didn't look like somebody tore through his stuff. But I think if Sterling looks around, Renshor, what do you think she, on a 12, finds in your room?
My clothes are in a pile in the corner.
What a
So
noble
wild.
thing to do.
There is a large stack of books on my desk. There is I don't know where my sphere is. It's somewhere. Probably in a drawer. Hopefully shit. And then I go and open the drawer. Is my sphere in there still?
Yes, your sphere is in there.
Cool. Then I'll close the door.
That's where you keep it. Just
Nope.
in the desk.
Not anymore.
Are they not trying to...
Sure. What would you have me do?
at least find a creaky floorboard?
They're in the floorboards.
What is?
The people. They came the other day and they went under the floorboards to look for things.
In here?
No, in the basement, at the bottom of the manor.
Who? Oh. One moment. And I'm gonna go back into my room.
Wait, did you also hide things under the floorboards?
And I'm gonna shut the door so he can't follow.
Wait, Orianna, or Sterling.
Yeah.
Yes. I say through the door.
Yeah.
You saw my room.
What?
You saw my room.
You can come in another time. And with my things,
Mm-hmm.
I want to pull out of my bag
Sure.
my Book of Shadows.
Yes, the first time we see it. Can you describe what this book looks like? Because it's the first time it comes out.
Yes, so coming out, it is a large, like old looking tome. It has a green leather binding across it, and on the front is a tree with these like long curling roots and like shadows that come in like a black fade almost.
Yeah.
Around the branches. And I would like to flip to the section on creatures
Yes.
and see if there is anything any information I can find that is similar to what is being described.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You flip through. Yeah, make make an intelligence. No, that's not true. Make whatever check you think fits, because this is something that you are very good at. So I don't want to give you a check that you happen not to be good at. A check for going through this book and searching for information.
Yeah, some type of creature that like fucks with your mind, that maybe makes you sleepwalk, something like that.
Yeah.
No, my history stat sucks. So what if
You could do, if you have like legend, you can make an argument for like craft as like this being your craft.
Yeah, let's do that because I am
This-
that.
you could do arcana, you could do nature. Yeah.
Or do craft. That is a 22.
A 22. You look through the book, and based on what Renshor has told you, the section that you settle on is spirits, ghosts, and of that realm. And there's not quite enough information to really pin it down. But I will say you can narrow it down between a specter,
Okay.
a poltergeist. Give me 1 second. I don't want to give you the wrong thing.
He's like, and a third thing.
And a third. No, there should be
And
two
whatever
more.
it is.
And the actual thing.
See.
This is giving Phasmophobia vibes.
Yeah.
If your home is haunted, you're seeing creepy shadows in the window pane and eerily violin music in the halls.
There was a perfectly good explanation for that one.
A moon wraith,
Moonwraith, that's cool.
Alright.
and then there's one more.
Oh, I'm getting 4.
You're getting.
Oh,
four.
another page.
Oh, another
Shit,
one.
this could also be it.
I have a name. It's just not a very cool name, and I want to come up. I don't know if I think of a better name.
TBD. It's so strange. It just has a picture.
Well, it's just called
John
Ghost,
was
and I'm like, it's a
not
lame
prepared
ass
for
name.
this to go like
A
this.
phantom.
Yeah.
Phantom's a better name for a ghost.
That's what happens when you don't sleep.
Yeah. And so you narrow down those. I will get you more information, Sterling, on each of those those four things. But you're able to narrow it down to those. They all have similarities of like something along the lines of like sleepwalking, or depriving their prey of sleep, and they all have kind of a system of hunting where they prey on their prey's psychological fears first before moving in and becoming more dangerous. And so that's kind of what lets you narrow these guys in.
I will pack it all away
Yes.
and then open the door. Are you in the hall? or
I'm
did you get
literally
to it?
just still standing there.
Okay, so I believe it could be a myriad of things. It could be a specter, a poltergeist, if I wrote that down correctly,
Mm-hmm.
a moon wraith, or a phantom. But
What?
no matter what is potentially haunting you, unfortunately, it has chosen you as its prey, and I'm weakened at the moment, so I'm not going to go check out what's going on. Okay?
No. What? There's a what? I've never heard
Well,
of any of those.
It sounds like the manor's haunted, and
Haunted?
I like to be the only creepy thing in the building, so perhaps we should find somewhere else to stay next night.
We're just gonna leave.
Well, if you have the marks to put us up in a place, I'd prefer anywhere but Darlington.
And we have to go that far to get away from this. What'd you say?
Spectre, poltergeist, moonwraith, and phantom.
Yeah, those.
Yes.
Wow, that's really far. Why do you? Okay.
Oh, I have no idea how far you can escape them, but there's no magic here, and that's really fucking with me. So if we're gonna leave,
Okay. What are we doing now?
well, I was sleeping in the wardrobe.
Oh, I woke you up? Wait,
It was
you were
3 in the
wardrobe?
morning. Oh, I woke you up?
I'm sorry.
So if you would like to hide there too, that could work for me, because then they'd catch you first, and maybe they wouldn't even see me.
You want me to come stay in your wardrobe?
Though it is attacking your mind. No, perhaps stay in your own.
My own wardrobe.
Yes, I don't know if it'll do you any good, though.
So, I could just be in my bed?
If it's attacking your psyche,
I
I
have
don't
no
know how
idea
you
what
can
you're
say.
talking about.
you just said that something is giving you dreams. You cut your finger in
Well,
your
that was
sleep.
intentional to try and wake up.
But typically, when people do something like that in their dream to wake up, well, it doesn't transfer to the waking
That's true.
realm.
And usually I do wake up in my bed. Not at
And
the top of the
clearly,
stairs.
it's also chosen your servant as a potential prey. So perhaps it's attacking the weak of mind, and that's why I wasn't hit.
Okay. Well,
Let me see. Hello? Is anyone there? And I'm gonna say that in his mind, but I just want to see if anything else will answer.
Ooh, I'm a ghost. No, they don't answer.
Well, I don't sense anything there.
Okay. This got weird. I guess I'm just gonna go back to bed. I was prepared to handle someone else in the manor. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, perhaps whatever is attacking you psychically also entered.
Okay. So, we're just gonna spend the rest of the night here. And then tomorrow night, we're gonna go somewhere else.
If we can without causing a scene.
Probably. Maybe.
Well,
Okay. Good night, I guess.
I'm
See ya.
gonna go
Yeah, go back to your wardrobe.
back to the wardrobe.
Perfect.
And this time, before going to sleep, I'm just gonna try to put up my mental shields like I did in the forge and stuff, just so I'll be like, well, if it can attack me this way as well, let's be prepared.
Perfect. You put up those shields. Renshor, you head back to bed, correct?
I put a chair under my doorknob.
Perfect. Room barricaded a little bit. And the two of you head back to sleep and complete your long rest.
Not dead yet.
Orianna, you awake. You headed back to the Ashen Order. Correct? Not the Ashen Order. The barracks, correct?
Yes.
Excuse me. You awake in your bed. Not to the tolling of bells, but to silence. You look around and you don't see any other cloaks around. Your room probably isn't public, you're not sharing a room with other people, but you can't hear any other cloaks moving around. Even the night shift, you can't hear them bustling in the other room. It is shockingly quiet in the barracks as you awake. Still dark outside.
Gotcha. Can I look out my window to see if I can see a clock tower, a bell tower, to see what time it is?
Yeah, you look out your window and you're not really able to see a bell tower. You look around and the skyline almost looks unfamiliar as you scan around, and you're looking for the castle or a bell tower or a cathedral, and you can't even find any of them out your window. And normally I don't know how much time you spend looking at the window. It's usually not hard to figure out where you are, but you just don't really recognize the skyline.
Okay. I'll get out of bed and walk over to the door and just slowly creak it open and peek out to see if I can see any usual activity that goes on in the middle of the night. Usually, like you said, there's night watch, people kind of walking around, the low shuffle of people in the common areas.
Yeah, You creep the door open, and the light from the hallway is surprisingly bright. And as you open the door and peek through, you look into the library of the Guiding Flame, and you see it is just as it was the last time you were there studying. And you can see there are students like moving about and like looking for books, and between like, I don't remember, I think it was between like 10 and 15 students were in the room at the time.
I look behind me. Am I still also in my room?
It's just a long hall that is like, the architecture is resemblant of the Guiding Flame Institute. Like, it's one of the corridors of it, but it just goes infinitely forever in one direction.
Okay. I look down at my hands and my arms. What am I wearing?
Probably, I don't remember if the Guiding Flame has uniforms for their students, but whatever you would wear as a student of the Guiding Flame.
I think I just instinctually walk into the library and sit down at my usual desk that I do my studying at, and just see what books are laid out here. What have I been working on?
Yeah, I think you sit down at the desk and you look down at the books in front of you, and you recognize the script of like the fancy scripts and fonts that would make up like a lot of the books that study and detail the Ascended, but every word written on every page is just the word Qatar, 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 over and over and over again in every book. And as you look up from the book, everybody in the room is frozen in time. Like, the room is perfectly still. And you can see sitting at the table, like 3 tables down, is that large figure, black hood up, ritual just about to start, but frozen
I
in place.
push myself up and go to like stand,
Yeah, you can stand.
and I run towards him again.
Yeah, you run straight
the
toward him.
instinct takes over, and I run towards him.
Yeah.
He's still just frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen. Everyone in the room is frozen.
What is he looking at? What book does he have?
Yeah, you look down at his book, and his book is the only book here that doesn't have the word Qatar written over it again. His has a different sentence. It says, "A promise of blood, a promise of power, a life for a life." And it just repeats that every single line of his book. A promise of blood, a promise of power, a life for a life. Boom, over, over, over. And as you read that, you see both Resbin, who you now know stands in front of you, his head, and only his head, as well as every student in the whole library, their head, boom, like unnaturally fast, snaps to look at where you were just sitting. And do you follow their line? Their eye line?
Mm-hmm.
You look back. You are still sitting at the table. You can see the exact same as the day that you were in here the first time, sitting at the table.
The fuck?
And then you see, kind of like with Renshor, movement out of the corner of your eye. And from where you're seeing yourself, where the Orianna sitting at the desk is, from above her head, up in like the corner of the room, where the shadows are the darkest, you see a long, slender arm reaches out and puts like a hand on the wall. Another long, slender arm puts its hand out on the wall. And like a skinny, almost like emaciated creature pulls its almost hollow body out of the darkness. Its skin like a matte black, almost like completely frostbitten. As it moves in the shadows, you can see the pinpoints of its eyes. It's hard to tell if it has horns or antlers or like floating hair. And it creeps down and with one slender finger reaches down and touches the other Orianna, like right on the forehead. As it does, you snap out of this. I need you to roll a d6.
Three.
A 3. As it touches you, you are
Curse number 3.
blasted away from the scene, and images just begin to flash in front of your vision. You get each of these visions for like a fraction of a second, but you see red and white laurel flowers immediately replaced by a bottle of red wine with a golden label on it, immediately replaced by the skeletal organ that you saw in Thornstrum's torture chamber. And you get boom, 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 those 3 flashes, and then all of a sudden you shoot up in your bed, sweating, but the familiar sounds of the barracks.
What the fuck? I go over to my desk and I pull out a notepad and I jot down the things that I have seen, specifically the last 3 images that flashed. And I turn to look out the window just to see the comfort of the skyline and see what time it is.
I think the bells toll like 4 at this point. Dong, dong, dong. It's early in the morning, but not the same time that everything's happening to the other 2.
It's been a while since I've had the little clairvoyant visions happen on their own without me willing them to happen. And that's what I'm assuming it was. But I haven't done it in a long time. So it was weird and shook me a little bit, but I'm able to climb back into bed, knowing that I'll review the notes in the morning of what I've seen with a more clear mind. And I think I am able to soundly go back to sleep.
Yeah. You finish your long rest. Everybody gets a long rest. And as morning rises on the 14th of Asha, we're going to take a quick break and then get right back to more City of Shadows.
Welcome to Fantasy Pants, an actual play RPG podcast.
The network won't like me saying this. But damn it. The Tythos tragedy was the result of nothing natural. It was an act of deliberate terrorism. We don't know anything except that we are hurt and we are scared. But as always, I choose to believe in the power of our luminaries. I will put my faith in the best of all worlds when we must face the storm again.
A beacon of light. That's our role.
Then shine.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
I think you're so much fucking better than me, don't you?
You are weak.
Take him! Zebulon, you have to remember. You have to remember. Look at the toy. Look at the toy, Zebulon.
It's just the beginning, isn't it? Monster! Monster!
I take your hand.
Roll for initiative.
These lights, they don't burn out at night.
Did you crit your pants?
Are you
I
kidding
crit my
me?
pants. Oh, I can smell it. I crit my pants. Those cozy fucking beds at the pale moonlight.
They're incredible. You
Fuck
would not
that
believe
place.
Stop it, it's cool.
It's not cool.
You're fucking so dead.
Wait, was that? Did you come up with that?
Shut up. I like it.
This is the most wild fucking fight. You say just shut up again. Jason Taylor is now shut. Shirts are off.
These lights, they'll give us freedom from the dark around us.
Hello and welcome to Insight Check. My name is Victoria and I play Orianna in our campaign City of Shadows. When Orianna entered into Thornstrum's workshop, she went in with a mission and a goal. A very selfish goal. When she came across the prisoners, she immediately shifted and it turned into a rescue mission to help them. But when she walked into the torture chamber and saw the man on the table, something really snapped within her. And in that moment, I really felt in sync with the character. She was moving and acting all on her own. She felt very differently about the situation than I did about the situation. And as a player, those moments are startling, but it's my absolute favorite part of playing a TTRPG. I am both one with the character, and yet she has this whole mind of her own. And it's a very unique feeling that I only get when playing TTRPGs. Seeing the tortured man set off a whole chain of events for Orianna and the Ashen Order, where before she just didn't care about the Order, and now they aren't aligned with her feelings on justice, and she's really starting to fight against them. But going to the Spittle Maiden was also a fun trip to interact with Sterling. Orianna is still skeptical about her, and she's really trying to put her best foot forward, which is why she asked to go see her dresses in her room. And above table, I want Sterling and Orianna to be closer friends. And then Sterling kissed her on the cheek. Yes, Renshor has been wanting to get back together with her, but the surprise affection got to her. And you just got a little glimpse as to why Orianna is hesitant to get back with Renshor. Yes, she's been avoiding Renshor because of some of the crimes she committed and her desperation to go after the cult that hurt her. But the curse also has effects to her positive emotions too, most of which she feels when she's with Renshor, and she especially doesn't want him to get hurt. Okay, now let's move on to some questions from the other players. Orianna is under the gun a lot, whether it's Zone of Truth or Dominate Person. She also has a lot of secrets. Are you worried someone will ask the right question one day? Absolutely. I am so worried that John knows exactly which question to ask that's going to get me to slip up. And I feel like Orianna might be a little bit more better with her words than I am. And so me having to answer these questions is always scary for me that I'm going to slip up, even though I know Orianna might have a way around it. Question number 2. Orianna asked Renshor to dinner at Thornstrum's Ford, and then later invited Sterling to join. Did she intend it to originally be a date? That's a really fun question, because the first time when I thought about it, it was a little bit of a date. Granted, they were probably going to talk about the Forge and her curse and everything that's been going on, so it wasn't going to be 100% romantic. But she did intend for it to just be the two of them and to maybe start rekindling a little bit and seeing how she's feeling with it just the two of them alone. Then by the end of the night, she was so shaken up by all of the prisoners and watching Sterling go down and the fire and the blaze, and she was just feeling so angry that she needed to leave and get away from everyone, that when she was just saying her goodbye, she was just like, yeah, you can come too. We have a lot to talk about, all three of us, about everything that we just witnessed. Like, my feelings about the date don't matter anymore. How I feel romantically doesn't matter. We have bigger problems at hand. And so everyone is invited to dinner. And I think the next morning, she forgot a little bit that she invited Sterling, and so she dressed nice to go to dinner, and then when she showed up, she was like, ah, right, I ruined this for myself. It's not a date. This is business. Question number 3. What does Orianna think about the Spindle Maiden's answers to her questions? Does she think the answers were worth the trip? I mean, going to the Spindle Maiden is always fun, especially getting to tour Sterling around. I think the Spindle Maiden gave good answers. The biggest question that was on Orianna's mind was her final question, asking about her own blood, and getting that little hint of it being related to Qatar and connecting it to the other players was really fun to see. I mean, it was fun for me as a player, seeing that little connection, the weaving of the story together, seeing how John is connecting all of these stories and all of these backgrounds that we wrote as players separate from each other, right? It's so much fun. I love the way that John's been orchestrating this campaign. If you love our campaign and want to see more, please give a like and a subscribe to show your support. We release episodes every Friday, and we cannot wait to see you for the next episode.
And we return to City of Shadows as the 14th of Asha is welcomed by a cloudy, overcast day. A chilly breeze whips through the city as the first of the leaves begin to change color and fall from the trees. We'll start with Orianna. How do you begin your day?
I wake up just as early as I usually do. I go out to the yard and do my vignacci, letting myself feel a lot of the emotions that I try to push down and get them out in a constructive way, in a way that doesn't hurt anyone, away from people. And then as the rest of the guards wake up for the day, I'll go to training with all of them. And then after training, I guess I will go find Roken and the rest of my team to attend one of the meetings that I have been requested to attend to and actually show some effort in my job.
Perfect.
Be true to my apology.
You meet up with Roken and Copperput and Zion, and as you guys come together, Roken informs you that the Templar has instructed your specific group. You're going to be providing, while the groups, the teams from under Templar Mozark will be working with the Grimwatch to root out the witch that you had hunted and discovered was in the city the night before. You guys would be providing security and keeping an eye on some of the Highborns. Specifically, he requested you provide security for the Solasti party celebration that's going on this week, especially because it is not going to take place entirely in Darlington, and the Scion, as part of the celebration, has some divine magic that he wishes to cast in as part of the celebration, as part of the ceremony, like as flair. And so in order for his ceremony to look good, they're going to like disperse some of that, the the restrictions on magic in the evening. And so your group will specifically be providing security for that event. In the meantime, for today, the Templar has requested that all of the books and writings on the witches of the Vermore, on the Moors themselves, and on their history, their magic, everything that goes along with the Moors, in order to study it more thoroughly, all of the cloaks under his command are going to go through the city and collect all of that knowledge and bring it to the castle. And so it is a little bit, I'll leave it up to Orianna where she wants to start. Your group is to cover the Guiding Flame, the Sophos Librum, or Ravenwell Prep are some of the spots on your list to go and find anything regarding the witches or the Moorish people and gather it all for the Templar.
Yeah. Personally, I don't want to go to the Guiding Flame. I don't want to be seen there by like old colleagues and friends and stuff.
Sure.
As a member of the Ashen Order. And I don't want to go to Ravenwell Prep because that's where young students are and children are, and I don't think they need a whole squad of guards marching through their school. And so I try to avoid that place as well. And so I guess by process of elimination, the only other place that I can't argue against would be the Sophos Librum. Deal.
Cool. The Sophos Librum is gonna be what takes the longest anyway to go through. Yeah. So the four of you make your way to the Sophos Librum. The librarians comply with Rokan's request, and you are going to begin to go through and anything, like I said, talking about the Moors or the Forest of the Witches. He wants placed in a wagon, and it's going to move up to
I guess I ask someone, I guess I ask Rokan if he's with us. How does this help us find the cult or the mages? I thought we were on mage duty.
Yes, well, with the attack on the death of the Viscount, temporarily this witch is going to take precedent. Speaking to the Templar, during the first wave, the witches can be extremely dangerous to the city. They're known for infiltration, for bending the will of powerful people to their own. While the mages may pose a threat to our bodies, the witches pose a threat to our souls. And so we are to focus on them for now, and once the cloaks of Templar Mozark, the Bloodhound, once he has all the resources he needs, we will return to hunting mages.
But how do we really know that there's a witch and it's not just more cultist activity? I mean, weren't the cultists also using a lot of craft from the Vermore Woods and associating themselves with this type of magic as well? And there were a lot more of cultists than I can imagine than just one witch. I still fail to see how this is helping.
The Templar communed with the Ascended, and through their guidance, they pointed guided us to the witch in our city, and bless the Ascended, may they continue to do so. This information will, by organizing it and combining it, we should allow Templar Cofford to be, and the rest of us, to be more learned on how to hunt this witch. That way this information can be passed to the other cloaks of Templar Mozark.
Okay, and then how does playing security for the Celesti family help any of this either?
The will of the Templar is not mine to question, is all he'll say about that.
Okay. It doesn't really feel like we're being that helpful, but all right.
Well, you see, Levy kind of speaks up. When I was still working for the Quillins, most of the ceremonies that the Scions would put on, many nobles, the Quillins would often attend, Viscounts would often attend. I'm sure we'll be able to get a chance to keep a closer eye on the Murwoods or maybe the Tyrvalds.
Yeah, I guess so. Just feels silly being security guards for a party, but look for the silver lining. And I will just kind of unenthusiastically go about my job and go about my day, putting in the bare minimum. I am here because I was called out and I apologized and want to keep my word on my apology, but not because I'm actually interested in doing this work. I liked being out in the city a lot more.
Deal. As you begin to collect books on the Vermore, we shift to Tyrval Manor. How do the occupants of the manor arise?
Tired.
I once more crawl back out.
Even in the morning light, it's not great. It's not a great mental. Yeah. Do both of you attend breakfast? We'll start there.
Yes.
Perfect. At breakfast, again, Arthas is quiet. Kazdeth is quiet. Your servants come in and say, "My lords, Lady Black, we are... we've finished pressing your coats. We've brought out the winter coats for today, and it's quite chilly. The ceremony of Viscount Thornstrum's funeral will begin in the next hour and a half. Finish quickly. We have it'll probably be like 2 hours. It's kind of take a little bit to get ready. In the next 2 hours, we're looking to leave in the carriage in the next hour to arrive on time." And you see Arthas just nods and continues eating his breakfast. Kazdeth is going to speak up and break the silence and say, "Sterling, have you ever seen a ceremony of bells? I know the bells are unique to Thalia, but I'm curious if similar traditions exist in where you're from."
I didn't live in the... I say the capital of House Moss. I just can't think of what it's called right now.
I think it's
Avonia? Is that the one?
Avonia? I think it's
Or
Avonia.
is that the one? I thought that was... the capital of where Eleanor's dad's from.
I have it right here. It is.
But
I don't have it.
I clearly know it, obviously. Important information in my backstory, I would know.
Adriel.
Adriel.
Adriel is Moss. Valena is the other one.
Cool.
Not Rember.
Remember?
Richardson. Yeah, Remember.
Yeah. I didn't live in Adriel, so there weren't, even if they do, similar things. Not much happened in the valleys.
Of course. It's a very interesting ceremony. The bells of abundance are incredibly old, since almost the city's founding. So it is a pleasure to see such history brought close. Sad to see it retired, though.
Of course. I mean, how many more are we gonna have of these if the poor Viscount can no longer build the new ones?
I do not know how they will replace the remaining few if they still wish to. It's quite unfortunate. From what I was told, the Thornstroms did excellent work with the Bells of Renewal.
Well, at least we'll see one more. Almost. It's not for his honor, right?
No, so it's kind of, they're doing it as part of the funeral, but also like the bell just needed to get retired, and so the High Priest is doing them together as like a last, as part of Thornstrom's
final
funeral.
Farewell.
Yes, precisely. Perfect. At this point, I think the servants come in, and they are going to kind of put on display the cloaks that Tierval have, their fur-lined cloaks, in order to gauge what Arthas wants to take out. Renshor, when you picture the Tiervals in their more wintry attire, what kind of aesthetic are you thinking of for Tierval, if any? To put you on the spot a little bit.
Fashion show it.
Fashion show, yes.
Long kind of trench coat, fleece lined, maybe like a little rolled up piece at the cuff.
Yeah.
Heavy embroidery throughout, and maybe like a high collar to break the wind.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so they bring out a couple cloaks. He picks one that fits your description perfectly. And Sterling, I think they offer you the cloaks that they offer you. There hasn't been a woman in the Tierval family in a little bit. So you see that they do have nice cloaks. They look newer. Maybe fetched earlier this morning or earlier this season, like as soon as you arrived. What kind of cloaks do you think would you picture them to offer to Sterling?
It's probably very similar to what Jacob described, but it has more of like a curved silhouette at the bottom. Like I'm thinking of like what I wore to the we went to like winter solstice, like it's a winter fair, and I had this like very like curved cloak, and I'm thinking it probably would do something like that at the bottom, but still have that like collary bit.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, they present these to you. Sterling, Arthas makes their selections. Renshor and yes, lovely. You take your black one. Renshor and Kazdeth don't actually get choices. They just get things that will look good while standing next to Arthas, which are, very similar in style, but Arthas is the one who makes the decision. Is there anything you two would like to do as you get ready to go out to the ceremony?
Nope.
I'm going to, if I'm in my room getting like final pieces or whatever, I want to ensure that my books and papers are properly stowed where I know where they are.
Cool. Yes, you put everything away like very meticulously, in a way that if anything was messed with, you would certainly know. I love it. And then the carriage awaits. You take to the carriage, and I am just double checking. I don't want to put you in the wrong spot. Etherly.
Did
Cool.
you take your sphere with you, or did you leave the sphere in your bedroom?
I left it.
In the
I
same
take all
drawer?
my things.
The carriage takes you to Etherly, and as soon as you cross the river, Sterling, you can feel your magic return to you again, almost fills you up, and coming over the bridge, probably the same bridge that Renshor stabbed Dayborn on as you cross that bridge.
Happy memories.
There's only so many
Yes,
bridges in this city. We're bound to run into the same 3 or 4 where we've had,
This is true. You pass the Sophos Librum, where Orianna is currently working, by the Guiding Flame Institute, and actually, I think where you guys end up stopping is right near the Guiding Flame, and in one of their one of the wings of the academy is where they take you up, and they have like a patio and like a courtyard that overlooks the street where the ceremony is going to take place. And you see there's a couple other Viscount families that are here, and like Count adjacent families that are welcome to this courtyard. As everybody gathers, they offer like hot drinks to everybody. They're serving food, and definitely much more comfortable than you can see the crowds gathering in the street to attend the funeral.
I take the time, like, if there's time before the ceremony starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, like, talk to a bunch of different people, specifically if I know, like, they have someone of that will be, like, in the courting season come summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Make a gossip check.
Not good. 9.
A 9. I think as you go through, you see, you speak to a couple people. The first, like, 2 people, they don't have anybody really eligible. Their children are either out at Scrollspire or they're already spoken for. But I think you do end up settling in next to the Tyrvalds and another Viscount family, the Falkwains. You brush up against them, and you see there are their children are 2 twins, Sethin and Salor. Sethin and Salor are both wearing like black and green, similar, like almost like trench coat looking overcoats, but where there would normally be like a big fur collar, they have like huge like raven plumes, but they couldn't be from a normal raven because these plumes are much bigger than the bird itself, and they have this big like feathered collar. Both of the children do. And you kind of begin speaking to them. They are both 25. Both of them are unwed and unspoken for, and the parents, they just got back from Scrollspire this season. They would have traveled with Eleanor, and their parents have not chosen which one will be the heir yet. And so one will be the heir, but one will be simply a noble.
Jeez. That's kind of...
And yeah, and you see the two of them. Sethan kind of looks preoccupied, but as you come over and the parents introduce you to them, Salor turns to you, and she gives you like a bow and says, "Greetings, I'm Sailor Falkwain. A pleasure to make your acquaintance." And she will reach out her hand to you, and kiss your hand.
Thank you. I'm Sterling. Sterling Black.
Sterling Black, that is lovely. Welcome to our city. I hope that the winter doesn't... the winter sits well with you. I know it's quite far north. And as she kind of makes small talk, you see Sethan's a little distracted. Can you make an insight check for me? As you're doing that...
So you don't want to use my bounces?
What do you... Yeah, what did you roll?
A nat 1.
Okay. You... On...
No, it's fine. Just
No,
I get nothing.
No, it's good to know. It's a nat 1. I think... I will use your passive perception, though. Because on a nat 1, you see Salor gives Sethan a nudge, and he kind of snaps out of whatever he was thinking about and turns to her, and she goes, "This is Lady Sterling Black. She's a ward for the Tier Vault." And
I'm not a lady, by the way.
oh, that's true. Yeah, you've just been...
Just because you've done it twice.
Yeah,
I don't care if people want to call me that.
No, I appreciate it.
I don't have that rank.
This is Miss Black. She's a ward for the Tier Vaults. And you catch as she says that, she like gives him a nudge and she is a ward for the Tier Vault. And Sethan goes, "Oh yes, Miss Black, is a pleasure to meet you." Sethan Falkwain. And he'll also give you a half bow. As he goes to speak again, the ceremony... Spilled my drink. The ceremony begins. And you hear Ilion's voice echo out into the streets.
I forgot about this.
"Greetings, brave and resilient citizens of Thalia. Our city has withstood much tragedy. A curse bestowed upon our stalwart High Lord, the loss of Count Heir Eleanor Quillen. And now we mourn the end of Viscount House Thornstrum. Sir Bucard Thornstrum came to our fair city when it was but a growing frontier town, with nothing but a few books and tools to his name." And you see he begins to tell the history of the Thornstrom family and them coming to the city and everything. It's very boring. As he's telling this, I need both Renshor and Sterling to make Arcana checks.
12.
25.
25. Sterling, this 25 makes up for the nat 1 a little bit before, as you watch, now kind of with an eye on Sethan, and he begins to mutter something under his breath. He's trying to keep it quiet, but he's casting a spell, and you kind of pick up on the fact that this man's trying to do some magic right here.
Who the fuck are these
and they're heirs to the Falkwind Viscountship. On a 25, I think you ping that it is divine magic. It's not a legal magic, but it's still like magic being cast in public. It still isn't normal, but legal. And on a 25, you can pick up in the words that he's saying. He is casting the spell Hex. He's trying to hex somebody. I'm a little unsure who, but you can hear him start to do this. As you pick up on this, Renshor, you kind of see Sterling interacting with the Falkwinds. You are distracted as from your other side, somebody brushes up against your shoulder, and you look down. A little bit shorter than you, Denise Adair has come up to your side, and whispers in your ear, "Greetings, Renshor. Lovely day, isn't it?"
What the fuck you want, Denise?
Oh, I just wanted to check in. I heard that somebody was hunting Viscounts. Wanted to make sure nothing happened to you in the night.
Still here.
How unfortunate. I see that you brought your ward along.
As is standard, Denise.
Yes. Have you found her a suitable spouse yet? Or are you just going to pawn off your old one?
The fuck does that even mean? I mean, yeah, she's been on a couple dates. What's it to ya?
Simply asking questions, making conversation with a friend. I didn't know that was illegal in our city.
There's a lot illegal.
Well, I know that having a ward can certainly be a burden if the Tyrvalds can't financially support your ward. Let us know. I'm sure we'd be willing to take her on. We're doing quite well, you know.
Are ya?
Mm-hmm. It's always unfair because I know Denise is coming before Renshor knows Denise is coming, and so I can come with some semblance, and I blindside Renshor every time.
Just go back to the shithole you crawled out of.
I would not return to Tyrval Manor. That's not where I came from. And she's gonna turn and kind of drift away into the other accounts.
That's a good one.
As Sterling, you kind of overhear this conversation. You hear them say this. She wasn't really being super quiet, but Salor is gonna speak up after this, and she'll turn. She's actually gonna look to you, Renshor, and say, I'm sure Denise suggests purely in poor taste, but would you be interested in a opportune investment that we may be able to provide?
I don't I don't need charity or anything. We're fine.
No, not charity. Business. And she'll kind of look over to you, Sterling, and give you a wink and say, "A way to make a couple extra shades on the side, you know?"
What you have in mind?
When the ceremony ends, just play along, and she'll give you a wink.
That's up to Sterling.
Miss Black, would you like to make a few shades? Would you like to make a few marks?
I want an insight check.
Yeah,
See
sure.
what-
Yeah, sure.
Kind of like the extent of bad behavior
Yeah.
that she's perhaps suggesting. And that's a 23.
A 23. You figure, like, white collar crime. Like, she's not looking at like, necessarily, like, robbing somebody on the street, but she is looking at to, like, bamboozle somebody for some money. And
I could always use. Oh,
yeah, no, go ahead. Yep.
I could always use another red for.
You and I think so alike. We're going to get along excellently today. She's I think if you would let her, she'd just take her arm and, like, lock it in with your arm and give you, like, a little squeeze before letting it go and looking over to Renshor and say, just make sure your Viscount plays along.
I'm always
You
ready
hear
to
you hear Ilion's voice come up again as he finishes his story. Like the good Leopold, we now retire this bell of abundance back to the earth. It has served our city dutifully for all of its days. But fear not, its station shall not go unmanned. Viscount Thornstrum, even in death, provides us another bell of renewal. And they reveal the same bell, Renshor, that you had seen at the Pristine meeting. Ilion speaks again. It shall ring on in House Thornstrom's honor for all the peoples of Thalia. Now let us undertake this solemn rite. This bell, and he touches the old one, is engraved with a citizen, and it represents how together we may withstand any storm, any tragedy, and every evil. May it ring out one last time with its brothers and sisters. And the bells begin to ring. As they ring, Ilion casts a spell again that brings the engraving on the Bell of Abundance to life. You see different artisans of every work and trade come to life, and they all kind of move around and swirl around the crowd before they set down their tools and share a meal around a hearth together. As this beautiful display of, like, sparkly, radiant magic swirls around everybody, I need both of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Right. 18.
19.
19. You resist any negative effects that come from this, but as you begin listening to the bell, really listening to it, you hear Renshor once again, Sterling, maybe for the first time that you've noticed it, listening to these bells. There's something not quite right with the way the bells ring. This one in particular, it's not smooth reverberations. There's an extra sound washing over you, as if the toll of the bell is the warping of the metal warps the air around you as well. And as this strange sound echoes through, Renshor, you hear the wind blowing through the streets. But as the bells toll, it doesn't sound like wind whistling over the city. It sounds like wind rustling the leaves of branches and whipping through trees of pine. And you can almost hear a sound on the wind's lips. As the bells ring. Sterling, as you hear the echoes, for you, it sounds like everything gets far away. So as you can still hear people talking around you, they just feel like they get very distant. And as the sound feels like it moves farther and farther away, almost slowing down, you hear a deep rumbling. Something deep beneath the city, shaking and vibrating and coming back to life. As you hear this rumble from deep beneath your feet, when suddenly, boom, all the noises cut as Ilion, once again, magic imbued onto his hand and forearm, strikes the bell, poof, and puts a deep crack all the way down one side, forever ending the bell's rings. As the bells across the city are ringing, we shift just a couple streets down to the Sophos Librum, where where Orianna, searching through her books and moving things, you can hear the bells ring outside, and you can hear the ceremony begin. And you're a little too far away to hear the strangeness of the bell, but you do hear something different. As the bells ring, you're currently working in one of the restricted sections, and you're moving books into a cart to be brought outside, and that alert feature that you have, that Orianna's natural alertness kind of kicks in. And you notice a couple things as you hear the bells ring. First, the first thing that dawns on you is how you are the only one in this room. As it's restricted and there's nobody looking through these books, there's no librarian to curate this area right now, and your other cloaks are elsewhere throughout the library. And so in this room, it's just you. And so first you realize that you're alone. And then you realize that you're not alone. And you hear a rustle in one of the shelves a couple rows down. And you peek. You just peek over just to see what it was. And for a heartbeat, there's no movement at all. And then something scurries out around the corner and skirts up about 15 feet onto the bookcase. And in this dimly lit hall of the library, you see skittering out of a pile of books up onto the shelf is about 3.5, 4 feet long, about, I'd say like a foot thick, a worm, a huge, thick, almost slimy worm. Coming out of its body are no scales, but almost reptilian in nature legs and arms that lightning fast skitters up onto the wall. And as its like pinkish gray pale skin clutches to the books on the side, it wiggles itself up and, although no eyes, looks down towards you, and the head of this worm almost opens up, and you see just rows and rows and rows of sharp teeth, and this thing and like leaps off the shelf towards you.
I'm going to draw my sword.
Yes, as you draw your sword, because it's just you and the monster, we are going to enter into a duel. Just the two of you as this fight begins. Remember that in a duel, every landed attack is always a critical, as it's just the two of you doing battle. But unlike the duels and the crossbows, there are no rules, no pulled punches, a fight to the death. As this creature leaps towards you, the first round of the duel commences. Orianna, choose your action, whether it will be a block, an attack, or a feint. And then roll your d20. All right. What did Orianna choose to do?
I chose to feint with a 17.
A feint with a 17. Perfect. So you're going to keep that 17, and next round you can either use whatever you roll or the feint. This creature jumps in. It's going to choose to attack. And as it leaps in, it rolled a 21 to hit Orianna. Mm-hmm. So it is going to deal, as it leaps in and bites you, it's going to deal 12 points of piercing damage, and that is doubled. 12 points of piercing damage, and it will also do 4 points of acid damage. And as the acid of its teeth bites into you, the critical effect of an acid attack is you lose one non-magical item that you carry or worn. So choose any non-magical item that Orianna has on her, and as it bites into you, the acid eats in and corrodes it and destroys that object.
I'll lose my whole box of matches.
Okay, your box of matches, the acid drips onto it and dissolves it. That is the first round. Make your next roll.
I choose to attack this time with a 25 to hit.
A 25 to hit will absolutely hit. This creature also chose to attack, but it rolled very poorly. It rolled a 11. Does an 11 hit Orianna?
No.
Cool. An 11 misses, so it goes to bite at you again, and instead you step out of the way and slash at it. So what weapon are you using?
I am using my short sword.
Perfect.
And so
that
max
would be-
damage on that is 9 points of damage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you're going to...
I will take my
is it
second
piercing?
action.
Real quick, is
Piercing.
it piercing or slashing?
Oh, I'm assuming it's... Oh, short sword, I think it's slashing.
It's
'Cause
slashing?
the rapier
Okay.
is piercing.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So as you slash, the bleed effect comes in. So it's going to take another 5 points of damage. And it will take that at the beginning of each turn until it uses a turn to stop bleeding. Which is a big deal in a duel, because then it can't take any action.
Yes.
Cool. So you cut it, it begins to bleed.
And I'm going to use my extra attack action here as well to go for a second hit.
Excellent. And
This
so
is
if
only
you
a
have
16
not
to
used...
hit.
Have you used the 17 from your feint?
I did.
Okay, cool. So it's a 16 total to hit.
This time, yes.
A 16 does not hit. As you swing down, it's going to squirm its body out of the way, and it's so quick and wormy that it is able to avoid your second slash.
Orianna might be in danger.
Cool. That is... do you have anything
Roken?
you want to do?
Are you down there?
You want to shout for Roken?
Yeah.
Cool. You shut out for Roken. The next round of duel continues.
Can I, before you roll, can I
Yeah.
spend a key point to do a bonus action for
Yeah.
2 unarmed strikes?
Absolutely.
Punch the worm.
I'm going to punch the worm in the face.
The spiky face.
Okay. That first one was another 16, so that
Okay,
doesn't
does not hit.
Brutal.
And 22.
22 does hit.
And that's max points of 7.
7. Excellent. So you do another 7 points of damage as you punch this thing. And with bludgeoning damage, it will have disadvantage on all attacks, saving throws, and ability checks to the end of your next turn. So for this next round, I'm going to roll 2 d20s and take the lower of the 2. As you pretty much it moves out of the way of your first punch, and then your second attack, whether it's your fist or your feet, get it right in its head and discombobulate it.
Yeah, it's a left-handed hook.
Yeah, you hit it, it shudders. Next round of the duel.
That's some monk shit for your unarmed to be only 2 less max
Yeah.
than the sword.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
I need a better sword.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Orianna, what did you choose to do?
I did another attack, so I will take the
Wow.
minus
The
3
minus 3.
penalty for attacking again, but that is
Cool.
still an 18 to hit.
Sweet. It chose to block, and so an 18 would normally hit, but not with its block roll. It was able to bump its AC high enough that as it moves into a defensive spot, it shifts back and is just able to get out of the way of your sword. But Orianna has extra attack now, and so if you want to swing again, you still have to beat its new DC, or its new AC, but you can swing
I
again.
could try again. Does this one also get the penalty of minus 3, or is this normal now because it's an extra attack?
This also has minus 3.
Oh. Dang.
She didn't get the
16.
16. Place.
Okay, what'd you
16,
say?
it doesn't hit.
16. Second attack, it as you're swinging at it now, it is leaping onto the shelves and getting higher and higher as you're swinging at it.
Roken! Are you down there?
You can hear the commotion. You can hear they are right around the corner, but we're going to do another round of attacks.
What's your emotional state right now?
I feel like I'm pretty calm. I'm getting a little nervous as I'm not hitting it. But I think I'm still pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
I'm not spooked by it. I'm unnerved, but not spooked.
Perfect. Orianna, what did you choose to do?
It's another attack with the -3 penalty for 22 to hit.
Wow, that
Nice.
absolutely will hit. As you leap into hit, it at the same time is going to attack, but it is going to attack with an acid spray. As you see its body like convulse a couple times, and then like just puke acid all into the library. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Books.
Not the
all
books.
the acid on the books.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
The children love the books.
The books. 14.
A 14. You are going to take... Okay, so you're going to take max damage, but then halved, because you passed the saving throw.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be... So, because it's a critical hit, it does max damage, and then because you passed it, it does half. So now...
Okay.
You are going to take...
I'm fine.
You're going to take 20 points of acid damage as it sprays this acid.
That was
as
half?
you leap in. Yeah. Well, it's half of max, yeah. And you are going to lose another non-magical item worn or carried as the acid burns through something on your person.
Worn or carried? I don't know off the top of my head what else is in my bag currently, so I can just say that it singes through a good chunk of the Ashen Order cape that hangs off of my shoulder, and that can dissolve away as I kind of shield myself with the cape. I can come up with something else later to not have on my person. I just don't know. Do I lose my weapon?
So I'm trying to debate if you want to choose the cape, I would consider that your clothing, and so it would burn away the armor, and so you wouldn't be naked, but you would lose all your benefits of your armor.
I could lose my armor benefits.
Cool.
Deal.
It sprays on you. You see all of your that leather armor just peels and burns away, with the exception of those silver bracers. As the acid pinks off of it, they remain unblemished, but everything else burns and singes away. What's your attack damage? Because you do hit this thing as you push through its acid.
Yes, it's 9 slashing.
9 slashing. How would you like to kill this creature?
I think I've been just hacking away at it until I've ended just chop off its head and just kind of split it in half. There isn't anything frivolous or fancy about the attack. It was very much just a hack and saw away at this thing while it was leaping at me and spraying at me, and then me also trying to call for reinforcements. And so it is not pretty, and the head falls off as it bleeds. Yeah, you make that final swing, and just as Roken and Zion come bursting through the door, they watch the acid just falling at their boots. They watch as you cut this thing, the head clean off, the acid spraying over the bookshelf, just burning into a whole bunch of very expensive, very restricted, unique books. All the bindings of it just get destroyed on this whole wall as you. The book crimes in this campaign are the worst. They keep getting worse and worse and worse.
As you cut this thing and it falls slumped to the ground, you see Roken goes, "By the Novem," and
it took you
watch
long enough.
Zion go and have to hold in a gag.
I have no idea where this thing leaked out from, but here it is. Is this a depraved? What is this?
It's definitely not normal. And you see, Roken goes, "Zion, go get someone from the Bloodhound. Have him check this out." And he's gonna stoop down and kind of start poking at it. And every time he pokes it, the worm's body wriggles and writhes. He's like,
Interesting.
"Let's clear everybody out of the library. We don't need any of these needing a librarian." Don't know how many
course.
more there will be.
Absolutely. And yeah, I will sheath my sword and make my way down the stairs and start clearing people out, letting the librarian discreetly know that we had an incident upstairs and to help get all the other patrons out of the library and that we need to shut down for the rest of the day.
Yeah, they clear the library out. They go to shut everything down. And as the people move out of the library, you look out to the street, and you can see through the open doors the conclusion of the ceremony of the bells. You see Viscount Thornstrum's casket closed next to the bells, and as the bell of renewal is brought to the bell tower, Thornstrum's casket begins to proceed out of the city where they will cremate it, as is custom.
With his ashes.
With what's left of with the already cremated Viscount Thornstrum. And as you see this procession begin, we will end tonight's session with Orianna acid burns and armor falling apart, and then we'll pick up next time with a scheme from the Falkwane twins, and see what Sterling and Renshor have gotten themselves into. But make sure you like and subscribe, as there's still much to do in the City of Shadows, and a celebration of the Celesti daughter right around the corner. But until we meet again, over another round at the Four Rings Inn.